Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today I'm going to be talking about LLEX, Lilis Energy Incorporations, another energy player. So today a little bit oil slumped down, so that brought this stock down. Multiple different things happening right now. For instance, the record reserves in the U.S. that caused the stock to come down, as well as the other part of the sector. But overall, today was a red day, so this was a little bit of a bad day for this ticker. Now I'm going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis to overview if there's a potential jump for this stock outside of news. So it's just based on technical analysis. So given that the news usually prices in within a day or so, especially in this case, now we need to be careful in terms of, for instance, something like COVID numbers increasing to all-time high in the US that might close down some operations, and thus the oil demand might decrease a little. But it's not only the US, it's almost also more about the world, as well as oil prices continuing to going down. So there's a little bit of different catalysts here and there, but I want to look into just technical analysis for this point. So technical analysis point of view, we can see the momentum has gone quite down, which is a good sign because it can easily reverse at this point. In terms of unbalanced volume, it has not consolidated to its previous levels, but in terms of William percent R, which is similar to RSI, it is extremely well, it's more around neutral, but it's coming in a little bit towards the oversold. It's considered oversold actually at this point, but it's the most oversold it's been seeing for at least a month. Going to average directional index, it's still under 50, so it's a still okay sign for me. However, it is indicating that it could be possibly a little bit of sloppiness in tomorrow's play. Going into 10 SMA is above the 30 EMA, so that's a good sign. Now, in terms of resistances and supports, the current resistance I would say is sitting at the 0.30 level. So the 0.30 would be probably your support, and we'll have to look into the 1 month 1 hour period. Graph is going to be a bit messy, but we're going to be looking at probably current resistance at 0.31 right here happening, and the current support I would say is sitting somewhere at 0.26 to 0.29. So it's pretty good resistance in terms of that. Now, in terms of the MACD, it's decreasing. So what you want to see is in the pre-market, this starts going in more towards the positive, which could be a good sign. So we could have something similar, but we could have something similar to what we're seeing here, for instance, where it decreased, but it still continued to bleed for at least a couple of days before we get some good news or PR, or maybe the catalyst of the oil becomes more expensive. You need to be very cautious for this stock. You need to make sure that you're stabilizing. Now, going into the 5 days 1 hour, you get to see this movement as well, as I just mentioned, just a little bit on a closer scale. Now we're going to be doing the trend lines. So the trend lines for LLEX has been positive, especially since COVID numbers went down for a little, and oil has increased due to OPEC levels somewhere around here. But I don't see the stock being anything less than the 0.25 level if it follows that trend line. So you still have a good support in that region of the 0.26, as I mentioned before. Going into the moving averages, we can see that this stock is trading above its moving average, but the moving average is increasingly going upwards. So that might be a little bit of a good sign at this point. But still, you might expect it to drop somewhere, at least to 0.26 is where the level is. But once it sees that dip, it should see a bounce back depending on the catalyst. So let's try to take another look quickly into the Fibonacci retracements. Just delete this one here quick. So over here, we can get to see that around this area here, around 0.27, and I mentioned around 0.26, I actually need to make it a little bit smaller, just because it needs to capture the 0.16, and it's not capturing that right now. So in order to capture the 0.16, we can see that that support is in fact around 0.26. And I did mention it before. So 0.26 would be probably the lowest it's going to go for at least if nothing happens in terms of, for instance, the oil price is tanking. So around 0.26, I would really consider to buy this more. And if you're holding this and you see it stabilize and dip maybe a little bit more, I would consider averaging around 0.26. And I can see a nice jump probably around its next resistance around 0.31 to perhaps even 0.32. That's currently what a little bit of the resistance looking at. And so you can have a good profit from 0.26 to 0.31. That's my opinion though on this stock. Make sure to mention any other tickers you're interested in the comments below. If you have any questions, make sure to send them down. Please make sure you subscribe, you like, and you share this video if you like it. Have a wonderful day.